Hi, we're the Rindlisbakkers, owner of Red Hawk Trading. Today we're going to show you how to set up a modified pyramid. It's a lot like the regular pyramid or range teepee. The only difference is this requires a ridge pole. This particular tent is a 15 by 20, so it's quite a large tent. So we'll be setting it up with two uprights and a ridge pole. We can set it up with a single pole in the middle if we want. On the smaller modifieds that works great. This big one's a little easier to have two people lift it because you're lifting the whole tent at once. We'll explain that in a minute. We've already staked down the floors, and so now we're just going to go ahead and spread the tent out and stake the four corners only, and then we'll get to that point here. Okay, so we basically staked the four corners tight between each corner over the top of the floor. That's all we're going to do for a second. I want to talk about pole preparation. We do have a pole preparation. This one's a little bit different because the pins that go through the ridge pole are shorter. You do not want to go clear through the ridge pole. So this is our ridge pole. On a modified, I like a little bigger ridge pole because when you drill a hole through it, it has a tendency to weaken. So we've got three holes in this ridge pole, one at each end and one in the middle. Now if this was a smaller modified, I could set this up by myself using a T system. So that pole would go in there like that, and then you stand the tent up. It's adequate, it's very strong. I have set this one up with one pole. Because it's going to be up for a few days, we're having a family gathering, we're going to set it up with two poles. It just makes it a little easier to lift this tent because it is heavy. It's a large tent. So remember, the pins cannot go clear through the ridge pole. Now there's a couple of other, like on our dining fly, if you have a center upright for it, it's the same thing. You want a shorter pin. The only pins that are long are the ones that go through the ridge pole and out the top of the tents. So my wife's going to take this inside the tent. On a modified, you have to take your uprights on the side of the tent and slide them underneath the side of the tent. That's why we don't stake everything down. It's absolutely necessary to go from the side. You can't set it up any other way. So what I'm going to do is just slide this under almost halfway. I'll take this other one and slide it in also. And I'll go in and help her tie the ridge pole in place. There's ties there so that she can tie the ridge pole right to the canvas. Then what we'll do is we'll just bend down, grab the upright, slide the pin in, and stand it up. We'll go and help her do that. Okay, now we got the ridge pole in. We're just going to start lifting this up. Alright, now we'll go out. Now at this point we want to stake down the rest of the tent. We'll just do the centers right here first just to show you what we're going to do. Now on all our range teepees or pyramids and modifieds, we flare out the center seams about 5 inches. The reason we do that is because canvas shrinks lengthways more than widthways. So when you first get your tent, it's okay to pull this out, stake it down where it's tight. It'll gradually shrink down where you have a straight tent. But that way you're not going to be running ropes to your stake loops in a year from now. Okay, now this is, like we explained earlier, this is two poles. This makes it nice when you're out hunting. You can run a clothesline across here and dry some clothes. But if you're by yourself, you use the center hole in the pole and one upright. It's a little difficult on the size tent, but I have done it. And it works out great. It looks like the capital letter T, and it's very strong. Just make sure your ridge pole's a little bigger than your upright. This is a relatively new tent, and so the center seams are all flared out a little bit because of the shrinkage I mentioned earlier. After that shrinks down, that'll come in and it'll fit under the floor just really nice. Under the sod cloth fits under, and place for a stove over in this corner. Now at this point we're going to put the awning up. This tent has a option of the awning here. The awnings are sewed on. We actually incorporated into the seams. Our seams are a flat felt locking seam, very strong seam. And so we sew the awning right on. There are ties. If you didn't want to use the awning, you roll it up and tie it up against the tent. We also, if you don't want the awning sewed on, we do options when we build them of what's called a fly pull hole. What that is we'll put a hole in the front of the tent with a flap over it, about 8 feet up. And you can run a ridge pole into your upright that's inside the center of the tent. The pole will come out, and then another upright out here, and you can put a regular dining fly out over the top if you want. That's called a fly pull hole. It's an option. Okay, the front ties, some guys will like to run a pole across here, and it is nice to have a place to hang lanterns and stuff like that. But you can see on this tent, on this awning, we flare it out so that you get more shade. We don't come just straight out from the front of the tent. What we'll do now is just pull these nice and tight, stand this up a little higher. Kind of gives you some shade in the front yard. The door can be rolled up and tied out of the way. This type of door is called the teepee style door, and it's oval like a teepee door. Now, I like that because it makes it so the bottom of the tent is solid. We do offer a split door if you want. The disadvantage of a split door is you have to tie it shut before you put it up. And but this way you just go ahead and pull your bolt tight and it's there. There's a little bit of a step over, so if that's a problem you might consider the split door. At the bottom of the door there's also a little tube that we use for a stiffener stick to keep your door a little stiffer. You can throw a willow in there or a dowel. We don't have it here today, but that's what they're. There's also ties inside and out to hold the door down. That completes the setup of the modified other than finishing staking it. There's a sod flap on all of this, on all 4 walls. That tucks underneath the floors, or in between the 2 floors. And again, that seals it up really nice. And this is a large modified, and don't get a lot of call for this size, but once in a while we do. The most common size we sell are the 12 by 18s, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 1-800-403-HAWK, which is 4295. You can also find us on the website at redhawktrading.com, and we'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.